in real life today.
What's up, everybody? It's Q and Chop, chopping it up.
Hey Q, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Another day, back at it, back in the studio, man.
Back out here grinding, boy, grinding out here, right?
Number 3 in 2 days, isn't it?
Hey, man, stay grinding, bro.
Hey, nothing wrong with it.
Man, Q, today in the show, you have a special friend. You know, I known him for many years, and he's been helping me out. Any questions I have, if anything, his name is Kyle Roque, but we call him Bapo. Bapo, what's up?
What's good, family? How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you, man?
I can't complain. I'm better than I deserve. I mean, I got a job, I got food in my belly, and I got a cigar to smoke sometime soon. So it's a good day for me.
Oh, that cigar.
You're a cigar connoisseur too?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like, I don't know every single thing about every single leaf, but I can enjoy a great cigar, talk smash, and watch some good football at the same time.
Right. I still haven't got on it, man. I haven't got on the cigar game yet. Chop trying to get me on it, but it's just so much smoke and it's so heavy.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's not everyone's cup of tea at times, and you got to grow into it. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, man. I told Q. He used to grow up into it, I try to give him like a little Cuba, and he started, and then I step up. I gave him a Amadola, the honey, was it the walnut, the sweet walnut, or some flavor he has. Whatever Amadola has. I gave him that. And he tried it, So the last stick that he had smoked was, it was a Connecticut, and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it still. So my boy Q started working on it.
Yeah, man. It was over. I was like, oh man.
First, like 1/3, he was like, I quit.
Nothing wrong with that, brother. We all grow into it, so you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, man. So, man, Bapo, we were really interested about you and your story, man. So we really just wanted you to kind of elaborate, man. Kind of tell the listeners, man, who you are
and where you're from.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate again the opportunity just to hop up with you guys. I enjoy listening to just the podcast itself, especially knowing Christian for a couple of years now, and now learning Q through your podcast. I think it's excellent, and I enjoy just simply listen to you guys chop up and think of very different perspectives on different things, and it's good, man. And I appreciate just the opportunity just to kind of share who I am, where I've come from, and where my journey takes me today. So as Christian has mentioned, my name is Bapo, but that's my nickname. My real name is Caito Roque. Born and raised in Miami, Florida, Cuban American. So I'm very prideful, very proud to be the heritage of both Cuban and American. My dad came to the United States in '69, and after being deported, he came back a second time, and he started to fall in love with America and American things and the American dream. And so he became a Miami Dolphins fan because at the prime time of the '70s, Miami was the team to beat. And so from there, just grew a love for sports, and eventually married and met my mom. And 18 years later, had my older sister. About 18 months later, the greatest gift to mankind was born, and that's your boy right here. Nah, for real. Yeah, so basically, man, in a nutshell, I grew up in a broken home. Born and raised in Miami, Florida. Everyone does what they want to do at times. And in all honesty, as hard as it sounds, it's very normal for a lot of people. But growing up in a broken home, my dad left my mom a couple months after I was born. And it kind of sucked to grow up with a father. I mean, there's guys who don't have a dad at all, but my lifestyle, my childhood upbringing was a father who was in and out, in and out, in and out. And he would make a lot of promises and break them. Make a lot of promises and break them. The cycle became my lifestyle at a very young age. And I'm not sharing a different story. There's a lot of guys who understand that, a lot of young ladies who live that too. But eventually, when I was 9 years old, I was getting big into sports, man. As a Latino, there's the three main sports you kind of play are baseball, soccer, or football, as people should pronounce it. But
Of course.
we're in America. But so baseball, soccer, and because my dad loved the Miami Dolphins, I played and followed playing football, American football. And one of the games I was playing, we were in Miami-Dade County. We were ranked number one in all of our county and in the baseball league that we're in. And we were about to play the last team. And when we saw that schedule and we saw that we were going to play the last team in the league, we knew that we were going to destroy and smash this squad and make them beg for a mercy rule. And that's what happened, man. We played them one time before. We had a hell of a game. And the second time around, I asked my dad, I was like, yo, can you come to my game? Because we're going to destroy this team. And again, he made that promise. So as a young man, young boy, I had a lot of hope, a lot of, I guess, ambition for him to show up. And that game, I hit 2 home runs and a triple. And on my second home run, if you've been to a baseball game, if you coach baseball, there's that place where everyone's rounding third base and they see home plate straight in front of them. And around the home base, you see basically all the families cheering that's my baby. Oh my God, look at them cheer. Like they're so excited to see their child winning. And so as I look into the crowd, as I'm rounding third base to step across home plate, my dad wasn't there. And it was another promise broken. And as I crossed home plate, I cried. And I'm not known as a crier, but I broke down and cried. And I told my coach I quit. And I just sat at the end of the bench until my mom came home or came home to figure out I wasn't there and then come pick me up after her second job. And that night, I chose to fill this openness or this hole that was created in me because of just hurt, pain, and anger towards my dad breaking promises. And I chose to not allow anyone hurt me again. But at the same time, I'm going to allow things to fill that gap, fill that hole that I wanted my dad to fill. And the things I chose to fill it in, as some people from North Carolina or the South can be very shocked to it, especially at a very young age. But the difference, man, is Miami, Florida, you can step out the door and anything you want is in front of you. Around the block corner, you find boys slinging and doping, and the reality is that that's a family. Some people have this misconception of gangs sometimes because those are the bad things, but gangs provide families to boys like me who have none, especially for the male figures. My mom was there. She had my older sister was with me too. And I was proud of my mom, love my mom. She did the best she can, but she could never fill that void that I had. So at a very young age, I started doing dope, started out weed. I started having sex at a young age, drinking, all this stuff, very young, even selling dope when I can to make some extra cheddar, just because there was a void in me that I was longing for. And eventually, while in high school, one of my boys, Sean Antoine Davis, was on a drug run from Miami, Florida to West Palm Beach, about an hour and a half away. And on his return home, a boy died in a car accident. And when he died, my senses kind of woke up in regards to like, yo, what's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of the things that are going on? Because I started getting bored with weed. So I moved on to the next harder thing I could find, which is blow. I got tired of the girls I was having sex with. So I just hop onto the next girl just because I had that void in me that wanted to be filled. And so eventually I saw this cycle that I started asking myself, yo, what's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of things? Is there afterlife? All this stuff. Even if there was a God. My mom took us to church. To be honest, I really didn't care. I was sleeping around with girls at the church because it was easy. But the reality, I just didn't think there was a God out there that really cared. or existed or mattered just because of the life I've been. I kind of hated God, if there was a God, because of the dad he allowed me to have. I'd rather have no dad at that moment than a dad that just kept breaking my heart. So when Sean died, I started doing this quest in regards to trying to figure out what's purpose of life and everything. And eventually started studying evolution. And evolution just kept doing like, yo, we're monkeys, and then something caused the monkeys to exist, and then something caused that thing to exist, and that thing was caused by something else, and it was caused by something else, and it was on this cycle. I'm like, yo, there's no really starting point. Oh, the starting point is just this Big Bang concept that we're all here by product of chance. I'm like, yeah, this that doesn't make sense. And so I watched this movie back in 2005, actually. Have you guys seen the movie V for Vendetta?
Yes.
I don't think so.
I bet. So in the movie, it's a comic book movie, but it's based off this character named V. And his whole thing is remember the 5th of November. And he's about to blow up Parliament, basically, to kind of start a revolution. But in the movie, there's a scene where, if you Google, it's kind of cool, but basically he sets up a bunch of dominoes. You know, like when we're little kids, you set up dominoes and you all put them in place, and then you're trying to see how far you can go without, then hit them all down, let them all go in sequence and everything. But in that moment, that movie, he flicks a domino and everything falls down. And eventually this huge domino set of 1,000 pieces make this dude's logo. I thought it was kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. And so eventually in that moment, there was a light bulb or a switch that just clicked in my mind that as V was the man that flicked the first domino that caused everything else to fall into place. To me, there was something that started everything else. There was something that could not have been created, could not have been caused, that created and caused everything else to fall. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because science, I struggle a little bit with science. Maybe because I'm not that bright, but it is what it is. But, so I started searching. I was like, okay, let's figure out what God is out there. And the two things, man, from Latino heritage, Catholicism or Catholics, was a religion, quote unquote, I can follow. Islam was another one. A bunch of Muslims were in Miami. But the reality was, man, like, I kept seeing that I had to do something in order to earn favor with God. And I was like, yo, I've done already enough junk in my life, even as a 16-year-old, 15-year-old kid, that I don't deserve. There's nothing I can do to earn that. So my sister, Ashley, who's older than me, hit me up. He was like, yo, why don't you come to this youth group thing? I'm like, I'm good. I know people at church. I'm straight. I don't want to deal with that. And she's like, nah, why don't you come? I'm like, I'm good. Don't give a crap. And eventually my mom got pissed off because my sister snitched on me for something I did at the crib. I was like, damn it. And she was like, all right, Dad, I'll go. Fine. So I went to this youth group thing. And I remember this 4'9", 5 foot, whatever guy named Cali Vallejo in Miami, Florida, dealt with, gangs relations for the Miami PD. He was a youth pastor. And he comes on stage and he shares this thing called the gospel. And that God created everything, heavens and earth, and that he created mankind also. And he gave mankind options to live out a life according to structured rules. Because those rules were good for him, man would be able to thrive in that. But then what happened was that man was tempted by Satan, the serpent, and eventually they decided not to listen to what God said, but listen to what Satan said, and ate and broke a rule that God created for them. And when that happened, it was a thing called the fall. And the fall happened. All the world is now tainted. Mankind is now at war with God. We're going to hell because of sin. Sin is anything you do against God's rule. And then eventually Jesus came and died, lived a perfect life so he can die a perfect death so that we can be redeemed back to him And God, through the church, the Holy Spirit, and the Bible is making all things new. Now, as a 15-year-old kid, I was like, yo, what the hell is that? Like, this is crazy, fam. This is stupid. Like, God, creation, sin. I'm like, yo, you guys must be smoking. What is that? Let me get a hit of that. Like, I'm just being dead serious. Because even like when you watch TV, you can see some crazy people, man. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need anything of this. But within a week, go ahead.
So at first you was repelled, but within a week you said, okay, keep going.
Yeah, you're straight. So within a week, my sister snitched on me again. So I was like, all right, bet I'll go to his youth group. And Callie came up and preached again, but he preached through a different book of the Bible. And he preached a sermon on this verse called Galatians 3:26. And he talks about what the verse was saying, that those who have faith in Jesus Christ is called Son of God. And in that moment, the Lord gripped my heart in the sense of like, I should call you all these other things because of what you've done. And you would deserve that. A thief, a liar, an adulterer, a drug dealer, gangbanger. I should call you those things. But if you place your faith in me and trust in me that what I did cancels out what your sin is, I won't call you those things. To me, you'll be a son. And that void that I had in my heart was filled by his love, mercy, and grace. And I did not know what to do with myself. And eventually I started getting mentored and discipled by a couple of guys at the church. One guy named Ryan Johnson, be Pacific, and he was walking with me about like, yo, you got kicked the drugs. I bet, cold turkey, kicked the drugs. Relapsed a little bit. Yeah. Had to go through some withdrawals. Bad, but drugs were done. Kuda Matata, let's move forward. And he was like, now you gotta leave women. I was like, yeah, check this out, bro. I love, But the reality was that what my sin was doing was still being with women was tainting and destroying my soul as a whole. So I was like, all right, bet. So about 2.5 years later, after getting saved, my family and I found out some even harder junk about my own personal family, such as my dad. My dad, the reason why he left my mom is because he cheated on my mom over 14 times while they were married, and then finally had a side family on the side. So out of nowhere, 15 years of my life, only thing I had one older sibling and one sister, finding I had two younger ones too. I just never knew about. And that just wrecked me. Like just more pain, more struggles. And that made me want to desire to go back to my old ways, go back to drugs, go back to banging, go back to sleeping around, because again, that's what I knew to feel that pain. And so my family and I trusted the Lord, and he was leading us to like, yo, get out of Miami. And we were like, yo, bet. So we didn't want to move to New York or Philly because we got family there. We got a map of the United States and got a dartboard. Real talk is what we did because we foolish people. But I love my family. We got a dartboard. I hit the ocean. My mom was like, nah, we're not going to Cuba. That's stupid. She was joking, but she was serious. And then I hit Texas. And my mom was like, yo, I don't want to be around other Hispanics. Not because I don't like Hispanics, but I want you guys to experience something different. I was like, that. My sister got a dart and she threw and hit North Carolina. My mom Googled North Carolina. She was like, it's one of the top 10 places to live, find jobs and everything. We're like, all right, bet. My mom just graduated to her master's, so that'll probably be better for her. All that stuff. Kuda Matata. So we flew out here in like September. I got off the plane. I was like, what is this air that I'm breathing? Because in Miami, it's straight humidity the whole time. But here it's like, yo, this is fresh air. This is crazy. There was a lot of people, but like, hey, sir, how are you doing today? I'm like, you would have checked yourself, back off 10 feet. This is COVID-20, whatever we are right now. I don't know who you are. But the reality was like people were polite. And then I remember going outside, and I kid you not, I was like, yo, what are these trees? Like for real. I grew up on palm trees. So to see forest and greenery, I was like, yo, this is crazy. And my family fell in love with this place. And eventually we just trusted God. This was during the crisis in regards to the mortgages and all the housing market crashing. And eventually we decided,
Around
yeah,
08, right?
Yeah, 08. So eventually, we're like, yo, Lord, if you want us to move, we need you to sell this crib. And the Lord sold the house that I grew up in, or one of the houses I grew up in, the final one. And we moved up to North Carolina. I eventually got plugged into a local church called Colonial Baptist Church in Cary. And there was a bunch of older men who just, by God's grace, took a liking to me and allowed me to heal and deal with my daddy issues. And eventually got to the point where I was like this quote unquote calling to go to ministry, the church stuff. I'm like, nah, I'm good, because I'd rather do football. I'd rather do music, because music is big in my life. But the Lord called me to go to ministry. And so I decided not to go to the school I was going to initially and go up to a seminary in Wake Forest and started to learn, started to study. Now, if you know me, you know my past, the Bible was really good paper to roll up weed with. I know some people are like, yo, that's El Diablo stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm just being honest. But like I rolled up weed with the Bible. And now I'm going to a school to study it, to understand it, to teach it. And the thing I wanted to teach the most to is people who don't have opportunity to hear it, don't have the opportunity to hear the gospel message. Creation, we fell, God's redeeming, and God's restoring through the cross. And I have a heart for teenagers, especially those who are inner city kids, because I get them. They get me. And so by God's grace, for the past 8 years, over the past 8 years, actually 9 years, I was a youth director at a church. And I was loving young kids as best as I could, so they can see that there's hope greater than the things of these worlds that fills in that gap. That's the gospel. And by God's grace, through the church, I'm able to find my beautiful girlfriend, who will be my fiance and wife by the end of this year. I'm not taking time, but I'm not playing anymore. And at the same time, I'm now part of a church plant that's in Nightdale. And our job and our calling is to be a reconciliation church. We deal with race issues. We deal with immigration issues because we're a multi-minority church. And that's where my heart is. And so over the years, man, I've had some wonderful conversations with Christian. I got wonderful times with chopping them up, smoking cigars, because that's something that's in me. I love hanging out with Christian. I love being stupid. But I love Jesus because of what he's done for me. And even he's given me this opportunity just to sit on a podcast with two guys just to chop it up and share my story and my path. So that's me, man. Simple in a nutshell.
That's what's up, man. And we really appreciate it, man. It's really inspiring as well. I know a lot of people will get a lot out of that. I've recently come to walk with the Lord too early this year. So, it's always good to hear other people doing it as well.
Yeah, man. Praise God.
Man, during this time, man, were you working and all that, or trying to maybe like get a business off the ground?
So I work right now for Advanced Auto Parts. I recruit for them. But on the side, one thing I'm trying to do is this website that I'm trying to eventually get to a business out of it. But the whole concept is called, it's called Inked in Love. I love tattoos. My girlfriend knows she got tattoos. I got tattoos. And sometimes I'll walk up to random strangers who got some dope ink. I'm like, yo, what's the ink about? And she's like,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And she's like, babe, don't do that. I'm like, I want to know what's up. Because I think we all got stories, man. Q, Christian, we all got stories that we come from. And I think like tattoos, they have purposes behind every ink. Now you got some people who are kind of like, yo, I just got checkerboards. I'm like, all right, that's stupid. I mean, good for you, but it's stupid. But every tattoo has a meaning behind it. And so like even this website, this blog, interviews and podcasts too, I do want to make a business because it's a hustle I'm trying to do. But I think at the same time, I'm just like, I want to know people, what their story's about, and I want to share people what I've been through too. And hopefully some wisdom will come out of it to help someone through their journey, through their purpose in life too.
Man, that's just hearing you talk about, your past and the way you grew up and having a dad that, broke promises and you needed to fulfill that hole in your heart. That's 100% real, man. You can't make that up. You can't script that, And then the way you talk to kids about it, that just because your beginning of your story was, your first chapter was bad, doesn't mean your next 3 chapters won't be great. And then, and that's why I invited you over so you could give that to the kids or the teenagers even the adults that are still confused or confused of who they think they are, who really is there in life. I know people that don't believe or do believe or they give believe in anything you want, At the end of the day, we spoke, me you spoke before. We spoke before. Believe in what you want, but be great at something, Become someone great in life that you want to become, It doesn't matter who you believe on, you can believe in a cookie or a chip, but be the person you want to be. Represent, who you are. And you're doing that, man. Bapo, you're really doing that. And, you talking back to your story, man, the way I've had friends and we both have friends that, parents and moms left. They stay with their grandparents for the rest of their life, most of their life, and they don't know guidance, man. They don't know guidance.
Yeah.
And then they have to learn about themselves.
Exactly. Like I was sitting down with a young man who I've been discipling for almost a decade now. And he's about to propose. And I'm so excited for this dude. And we're sitting down, I'm smoking a cigar. He's sitting outside and we're just chopping it up. And he's it's like, to me, it was a beautiful journey to see where he was 10 years ago to where he is today about to propose to a young lady. And like, by God's grace, he's allowed me to be in this dude's life, to chew him out, to build him up, to encourage him, to equip him, and help him heal. I think the hard part, man, is like, even though I work with teenagers, I work with parents, and I work with single adults too, who got junk that they haven't dealt with. And they're still trying to figure things out too. Hell, I'm still trying to figure things out too. And the reality is that, everyone is. But I think the hard part sometimes, which I hope whoever listens to this, if you're struggling with this portion, sometimes it's hard just to figure out where to start. I think it's hard for some people to even think about like, yo, I got too much junk. I don't think I'm ready to deal with it, or I don't think someone's able to deal with it. And I'm like, one, you're right. You do got junk. And that's okay. And I think the reality is that there is a God out there who loves you enough to be there with you through your junk. And I'm still healing physically. My body, even though I'm a fluffy dude, like my body is still healing from drugs I did years ago. And like my relationship with my girl, like all I want to do is give her my everything. But I can't because sometimes I got this highlight reel of women I smashed in the past that prevents me to do that fully. And so I'm like, yo, I'm walking with my guys. I'm like, yo, as much as I mocked people for keeping their purity, I'm only a 30-year-old dude. I wish I was a virgin still. Because the thing I want to give to her, I can't. You guys seen
something special?
Yeah, man. Have you guys seen the movie Harry Potter?
Yeah. I have some of it, yeah.
Come on, Q. Come on, man. We got to get you on some stuff, bro. But
I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but it's all good.
It's all good. But the main villain His name is Voldemort. And the reason why he can stay alive is because he took pieces of him, piece of his soul, and put on some tangible objects so that if you kill him or you kill one part of him, he still can be alive and thrive through other parts. But the reality is that he's never a whole person. And I'm telling the guys and the ladies I'm walking with is like, when you come from a past like myself, that special thing that Christian said in regards to just our sexuality or virginity, I have given that to so many different women. They have the piece of my heart, piece of my soul that I can't without the gospel, without Jesus. I cannot give that to my girlfriend, future fiance, future wife, future baby mama, because my piece is myself is given to so many people. And that's why I'm just like, I need Jesus to help me to be healed, renewed, so that when we sit down and sleep and have a great sex on our wedding night, because we've been waiting to have sex for a wedding night, because both of us ain't virgin. But when that wedding night happens, I'm able to give myself all. Like the whole cheesy song by John Legend, All of Me is All of You. Like I can give that to her through what Christ has done in my life. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Really dope, man. So you reading, I see you say like Harry Potter. Are you reading any other books?
Yeah, man. So right now I'm reading a couple books. I'm reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. So I'm trying to understand history. I think his book and his lecture on Afro-American history is phenomenal. Like, I think that is such a great book that has been hidden. Second one I'm reading is a C.S. Lewis book called Till We Have Faces. It's an old Greek mythology, like retold. It's hard as hell to read. Big words, big names. I'm like, yeah, I struggle. I'll keep it 100. So I can do a lot of Googling and such. And then,
yeah.
The last book I'm reading right now, I'm probably going to start reading it soon. To the Warm Sun, It's Our Faces, something like that. But it's about the Great Migration from Jim Crow South to Chicago, and then eventually embracing or seeing Jim Crow in the North. And that is with, just about African Americans' flight. And so I'm about to begin reading that. And the reason why I want to read that is because I don't know if Christian told you, but my girlfriend, future, is African American. And so there's things about our dynamic, our relationship as our inter or mixed race couple that she doesn't get from a Latino perspective. But I don't get about her in regards to African American perspective. But I'm trying to, as a man who's supposed to love my wife fully, is to understand her. So this was a book that was recommended to be by our premarital counseling couple, mentor couple, to read so I can better understand her struggles, her flight, and such.
I mean, you got to send us a couple of those titles, man. But that first one, Malcolm X, man, I really heard that's a really good book. I'm definitely going to dive into that at some point soon, especially during this lull. But do you only read documentaries? Do you read any novels? Do you write any?
So I do read. I actually read a lot of comic books. I love comic books. So I mean, DC, Marvel, Star Wars. I mean, yeah, I read those like crazy. I'm actually writing a book right now. Again, coming from a Christian perspective, that's the reason I'm writing it. But the book is called "It's Dark and Hell is Hot," based off DMX, because I love that album. And the book is basically about simply like the life of King David. Like, we're seeing King David in the Bible. He is the king, from shepherd boy to king, and he rapes a woman. And then the woman miscarries the baby. And then he's restored. And so I'm writing about the whole journey of his life because it is such a beautiful, powerful story that we could see God's redemption both in that man and woman and that family. That I think people don't really get to see fully because of just we don't know the full story and scope of everything.
How long have you been writing this book yet?
So with this book, it's probably going to be starting, or has been about 6 months long right now. So
That's
I've been
dope.
writing, I've been writing that for about 6 months. And then I'm writing another book about, how do Christians walk with people who have sin and call Christians.
That's dope. I like
So
that.
those are two books I'm reading right now.
So the second book is like Christians talking about, with people that act like they're religious and like they act like, just because they pray 3 times, it means they're saved.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that in the book itself because, like, what does it mean really to be a Christian, right? Like, there's a lot of people I talk to that are, that they claim Christianity. They claim to be a Christian, but the struggle is like, you ever met an alcoholic before?
Yes.
Yeah,
Many.
we we know many alcoholics. But if someone claims to be an alcoholic and only drink milk, are they really alcoholic? No.
It depends what. No.
Yeah, right. I mean, in the nutshell, as a core, if you claim to be an alcoholic and you just drink milk, you're not really an alcoholic.
No.
One of these things about this book is if you claim Christianity, but don't follow what Christianity really is about, now you're really a Christian. And I've had a lot of
Yes.
So I mean, I had a lot of conversations with people, especially in the South, who, like, in Miami, to find a Christian, not like a guy named Christian who's working at Popeyes, but a guy who actually is like, but a guy who actually believes in Christianity is very rare. But in the South, you got so many people like, yo, I'm a Christian. Yo, I'm a Christian. Yo, I'm a Christian. But yo, fam, I still see the cocaine on your nose. Yo, fam, I still see doing X, Y, and Z. Let's talk about it, because for me, as a Christian, eternity is on the line. Heaven is real. So is hell. So I want to have those dialogues. So one part of that book is like, one of the things that we're called in being a Christian is being discipled. What does discipleship look like to you? Nah, I don't want no old heads in my life trying to sun me. Nah, that's not what we're trying to do. Nah, I don't want to be cuffed up in a relationship with a guy who don't know me. I bet. But in the mark of a Christian, there's certain things. Again, I'm not God. I got no heaven, no hell to put you into, but he does. So I want to help you, help myself at the same time as we wrestle with our salvation to see, like, yo, is this lining up exactly what we both claim to be? Like, so
Man,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you write 2 books, man. Especially now that we got time.
Yeah.
Especially with this pandemic, you got extra time now.
Yeah, we got a lot of time for everything, man.
So Bapo, give us some little more detail about your hobbies. What you have hobbies? You like something to do? I know. You, we smoke cigars, but what you else do? You read. You exercise.
So yeah, man, cigars are my thing. It's my heritage, my culture. So I love going to the cigar shop, acting a fool, and learning. I love reading books. I struggle reading books, just because I struggle reading books. Books are not easy with me. Even though people are like, yo, you read all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, it took me 3 months to get through one book. It's only 10 pages. Yo, Green Eggs and Ham is a hard book to read. But like, I had to learn. I got to study. I love cooking, man. I'm a fluffy dude. So I'm learning to cook more. I'm learning to understand how to cook too. I had a friend of mine who went to culinary school, and he was grilling and trying to give me some steaks. And he was like, yo, you want some wine with that steak? I was like, nah, fam, I'm good. He goes, you don't know how to appreciate a wine. I'm like, I don't know who the hell you're talking to. I love me. But he was just being real. So he was trying to teach me about what other things a kitchen looks like. So that's what I'm trying to learn too. I'm trying to eat healthier. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see me trying to eat shake or drink shakes now. I try to do 2 miles a day and walk just to get healthy. But the last thing, man, I love people. I love spending time with people, man. And even if it's over Call of Duty Warzone, like me and my boys will spend hours destroying and getting killed like crazy on Call of Duty Warzone, but it's because we're together being stupid and building life. And so, I mean, that's me and it's simple. Besides pursuing my girl, which is everything to me, and pursue the Lord, which is even further. And I'm a simple dude at heart. I love movies too. So, yeah.
We could go hours with movies, man. Trust me, I know. We could go hours.
Yeah.
So, have you been trying to like cook more Southern food? You know, like you got your barbecues and your sauces, barbecue sauce, and your coleslaw, and I learned to cook more Southern food than Cuban food.
Well, yeah, I mean,
future wife.
For my future wife, yes. I mean, I'm trying to learn. So here's the funny thing. Even though she was born and bred in North Carolina, she loves Mexican food. So I've learned to cook.
I can't blame her. I can't blame her.
But like, I'll bring her a taco and cook her fresh from scratch taco burrito. But I bring a ropa vieja and she's like, I don't like that. I'm like, girl, you better check yourself. Ropa vieja is a dish of Cuban culture and cuisine. And so I'm learning those things with her. She's learning to eat too. But then at the same time, like, I'm starting to learn how to cook ribs better. I'll be honest, I brag. I learned to cook wings in the oven that will fight you on good quality wings that are fried. I mean, like, and the reason why I did that is because there's three things in the world, brother, that can never die. One, or you can never get enough of. I'm sorry. One is bacon. Two is cigars. Three, wings. So I'm like, with wings, man, I'm like, I love them so much, but I gotta be healthy because I'm trying to make 75, 80 with my girl. I'm trying to have 6 kids because I want to have a big family. I'm trying to do all this stuff, but I gotta be healthy. So I learned to change up my wing habit and start having baked wings that are just amazing, in my opinion.
But let's be real, man. Me and you have destroyed wings, and we critique them.
Hell yeah, bro.
we will critique wings, and this is too crispy, or this is the sauce is too salty. We critique it, but then we would destroy them
in a heartbeat, brother.
In a heart, and it's like 4 of us. That we get for like 10 wings, 20 wings. We like give us 10 minutes. We're out.
Yes, sir. And you see me destroy wings. So go ahead.
Yeah, wings are a luxury, most definitely. I love them.
Yeah,
so what else do you like to cook?
So for the first time this week, I actually learned to cook cookies. And I was like, okay, I feel like this is going to be a struggle. I'm going to mess up like crazy. But the reality was like, they're actually really good. And I was very surprised by that. And I was like, it might be just me. I might be just tripping simply with that. But then I found, like, I gave it to my roommates and they're like, yo, this is actually really freaking good. And I was like, word. And then from there, I was like, I kept evolving and like, everyone's like, yo, Bapo, this is actually like really good. And I was like, for real? I was like, yeah, this chocolate chip cookie is like, it doesn't suck. And I was like, word. So I'm like, I'm trying now to kind of figure things out. And then I'm trying to help myself learn to bake cookies for my girlfriend. So she's gluten free. So I'm trying to make like snickerdoodles, make other things so that she can enjoy. So that's my next chapter.
That's what's up, man. Dope. We really appreciate you coming on this podcast, man. I know we got time coming to an end. You got to go and soon, but it means a lot you taking your time out. I see you not living with your girlfriend, so that means you're really walking straight and narrow. So I know it ain't always easy.
No, man, it sucks like crazy sometimes. Ugh. Yeah.
So I have one last question before we head out. If any of our listeners will ask you for a tip on how to start, what tip would you give them?
I think the big tip I would say to people is it's simple. And it's this phrase I walk and I say to everyone. Hurting happens in isolation. Healing begins a community. And what I mean by that is that we have opportunities to be with people. The Lord is bring people into your life that can help you through your junk. But it's only if you're willing to take a step forward out of isolation, out of your pain, and step into a community to be healed. Like the reality, I still have daddy issues at times. I still have struggles of like, I'm about to get married. I want my dad to give me advice, but I'm not going to trust my dad who cheated my mom 14 times. So what do I need to do? I got to find men, and the Lord has done this, who brought me into their lives. Black, white, Latinos, no Asians, no, but those three, and help me heal. And the only way I was able to really do that is through community. So that's what I would say. Hurting happens in isolation. Healing happens in a community.
That's awesome to hear, man. Where can our listeners find you? If you're very active on social media, man, give us the listeners your social media links, or if your website, everything that people can follow you at. And obviously we will have all that information in our description below.
Yeah. So my Twitter, Instagram, and if I'm correct, my Facebook too, is all simply I am Bapo. The letter IAMBAPO. So right now, that's the avenues that people have been connected with me. I have an open door policy. So if you have any questions, if you have any anger, you got anything, just hit me up through that. I will be more happy to chop it up with you on a range of topics. The website Inked in Love will be almost is being finished to be created and posted. So that will be coming soon, and you'll see more blogs, more interviews, more conversations that people can have more tangible things through that website too.
That's awesome to hear, man. I'm so happy for the minutes that you gave us. I know right now it's a hard time, and especially the pandemic and all that, but appreciate your time, brother.
No problem, man. It was good chopping up with you, Q. And Kuda Matata, fellas. I appreciate the opportunity.
Q, any last remarks before we leave?
Nah, man. Hey, Bapo said it. Get right with God. Seek Him first, because I mean, he gonna lead you, especially when we want to be an entrepreneur, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do. Seek Him first, and he'll lead your way, lead your path, and you'll be successful, because that's what He wants for you at the end of the day.
That's it, man. That's it. Once again, thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Bapo, again for joining the show. And guys, thank you very much for listening to us. This is episode with Kyle, Roque, Bapo. Holla.